Welcome to All Block Module 4, Unit 2, Lesson 4. This lesson goes with the day 26 in your learning calendar. Today we are going to look at complex text in the author's point of view. You should read the text Real Lives Angola, Africa and watch the videos for day 23 and 24 before watching this video. Let's look at our learning targets for today. I can use details from the text to determine the author's point of view. I can use details from the text to determine the author's point of view. Go ahead and rate how you feel about this learning target. Are you confident? Give a thumbs up. Do you need a little bit of help? Give a thumbs to the middle. Do you need a lot of help? Give a thumbs down. Hopefully, by the end of the lesson, everyone will be a thumbs up. Today, you will need your Real Lives Angola, Africa article that you annotated in the previous video lessons, pencils, and notebook paper. Find this section of your text, Real Lives Angola, Africa. Point to the first sentence of the last paragraph and follow along as I read. Fatima may be one of the lucky ones, but the facilities she, her children, and Selena now have are not a luxury, but a necessity and a right. What is the difference between a luxury, a necessity, and a right? Think of an example of each. Let's look at our question again. What is the difference between a luxury, a necessity, and a right? Were you able to think of an example for each of these? The sentence from the text says, Fatima may be one of the lucky ones, but the facilities she and her children and Selena now have are not a luxury, but a necessity and a right. I used kidswordsmith.net to help me find the definition to each word. A luxury is something very pleasant but not necessary. Here is the word in a sentence. It was a luxury to be served breakfast in bed. Synonyms for luxury: treat. An antonym for luxury: necessity. So necessity is the opposite of luxury. Similar words: extravagance, pleasure. Now let's look at necessity. The definition from kidswordsmith.net is a person or thing that is needed. 8 hours of sleep every night is a necessity for me. Some synonyms: essential, need, requirement. Antonyms: luxury. So again, we know that luxury and necessity are the opposite of each other. Some similar words: condition, fundamental, obligation, want. Let's look at the word right. The definition is that which is due a person from nature or law. That which is due a person from nature or law. Free speech is one of the most important rights enjoyed by Americans. Synonyms include birthright, freedom, privilege, title. A similar word is power. Let's practice with some examples. A television is a luxury, necessity, or right. A television is a luxury. It's not a necessity. You don't have to have a television to survive. And having a television is not a right. There is no law that gives everyone in the United States or the world a right to a television. Food is take a minute and think. What would you call food? Luxury, necessity, or right? Great job. Food is a necessity. It is something that a person needs to survive. Here's our last example. Going to school is a luxury, necessity, or right. What word would you put in the blank? I put all three words because this sentence depends on where you live. Here in the United States, it's a right for all students in kindergarten through 12th grade to attend school. It's also a necessity for attending school around the world if you want to be a successful adult. But in some places in the world, going to school is a luxury. Not all children are able to attend school. Great job with these examples. Now that we understand these terms, let's look at how it will help us determine the author's point of view. The point of view in informational text is what the author thinks about the topic or the issue. The point of view in an informational text is what the author thinks about the topic or issue. Here are the steps to determining an author's point of view. First, think about the purpose of the text and ask, what is the author trying to answer, explain, or describe? Think about what the author thinks about the topic or issue. What in the text makes you think so? Here is an example of how to find the author's point of view from a text you read from a previous lesson. Why is water so valuable? The purpose of the text, why is water so valuable, is to explain the value of water. Based on the text evidence, the author thinks that fresh water will eventually become a scarce resource, and what people and leaders do today will impact the future of the water supply. Now, when we put this together, we get our point of view. The author's point of view is that fresh water is a valuable resource needed by everyone. Governments need to work together to ensure everyone has fresh water now and in the future. What we did is determine the name of the text, ask ourselves what is the author's purpose for the text, ask ourselves what does the author think about the issue, and provide evidence of that, and then combining it to make the author's point of view. Let's try this with our current text, Real Lives Angola. The purpose of this section. Real Lives Angola, paragraph 6. Fatima may be one of the lucky ones, but the facilities she, her children, and Selena now have are not a luxury, but a necessity and a right. A mother must take care of her children, Fatima says, but we cannot do that when we only have access to dirty water. The purpose of this section is to describe how Fatima feels about the freshwater system and having access to fresh water. Let's look at what the author thinks and look at the evidence that we have to support that. Fresh water is a necessity and a right. Clean water is not a luxury. We have evidence that the author thinks these two things directly from the text. Let's look at the point of view. The author's point of view is, take a minute and see if you can complete this sentence frame. The author's point of view is, use our purpose and our author thinks sections to make your answer. If you need help, try this sentence frame. The author's point of view is that having access to fresh water. Go ahead and complete the rest of the sentence to make the author's point of view. Great job. The author's point of view is that having access to fresh water is a necessity and a right. You did such a great job. I have a challenge one for you. The author uses facts to compare Mabuia to other places in Angola. What does this say about his or her point of view? Let's look at the first paragraph where the author compares. From paragraph 3. In 2000, the Angolan government and UNICEF teamed up to lay a pipeline from the river to the community at Mabuia. Latrines, wash basins, taps, and showers were then built, together with a filtering system to ensure every drop of water was drinkable. The purpose of this section is to explain how the Angolan government and UNICEF brought clean fresh water to Mabuia. Let's look at the next section, paragraph 5. Unfortunately, Mabuia remains the exception rather than the rule in Angola. Almost 3 decades of war have left millions of people without clean water or basic sanitation. A huge task remains: drilling boreholes across the country, constructing major pipelines, establishing a national sanitation education campaign, and providing water to schools. The purpose of this section is to describe the problems in other parts of Angola without access to water. Based on the text evidence, the author thinks that access to fresh water improved life in Mabuia, but not all parts of Angola have the same type of access. When we put those together, we get our author's point of view. The author's point of view is, go ahead and see if you can write the author's point of view on your own. If you need a little help, use this additional sentence frame. The author's point of view is that it is important for all parts of Angola to Here's what I wrote. The author's point of view is that it is important for all parts of Angola to have access to fresh water. It is a necessity and a right. Great job today on determining the author's point of view. Here is our learning target for today. Rate your comfort level with author's point of view based on our lesson today. Thumbs up if you feel confident in your learning. Thumbs to the side if you still need work on author's point of view. And thumbs down if you need a lot of work on author's point of view. I'm so glad that you joined me for day 26 of the author's point of view. I hope you keep watching our videos and learning together.